My name is Rose Stein. I am the founder of this group. I have had many, many years of dieting roller coaster nightmare. And so I am so excited to be able to share with you guys some things that I have learned and found along the way, and not only my own personal desperation to find a solution that actually works for somebody like me who has been on that dieting roller coaster, who used to tie in the my value and my self-worth to my weight and my body, and just that nightmare since I was a real young girl. So here we are. And you know what? Sometimes it's really deep and intense and emotional. And sometimes it's just fun. Sometimes we're just having a good time and living life and eating food and feeling really good. So that's part of it too. And living and loving and nurturing ourselves and being that wonderful example for ourselves and for the people around us, and making sure that we have proper nutrition. Then you should have already the hypnosis session that I hope you're listening to at least once a day. Twice a day is better. 3 times is excellent. We're really retraining the mind in the way that we think about food and the way that we think about nourishing our bodies. And it just makes it so much softer, so much simpler. And that's really, I think that's what you want. It's definitely what I want. So that's what I'm sharing with you. So I highly recommend that you utilize that tool and you utilize it to its fullest advantage 3 times a day. If you can only do it once, awesome. Twice, even better. 3 times, magic. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about breakfast, many different ways to do breakfast. Of course, I'm going to show you several breakfasts, but that's not the only options, right? Really what we're doing here is we are creating some variety. We are creating some opportunities for us to go, okay, what is the structure of a healthy, vibrant breakfast, right? What does it mean? Like, how can I honor my body, right? And give it proper nutrition and go anywhere in the world and still stay true to what I know that my body needs. The basic idea is that we want to have some balance, right? So we're going to do some protein, some kind of starch, and some kind of fruit or veggie. So let's get it rocking, ladies. All right, so the first thing I'm going to show you is a couple things that we're going to cook. So I want to get them into the oven and cooking so that we can actually see them when they come out. So what I'm going to do for the starch, first of all, is I'm going to have a potato. This is a sweet potato. And I'm just going to chop it up. I just rinsed it a little bit. And so I'm just going to chop it. I think you guys can probably tell I am not a chef, although Chef Cindy did tell us to make sure that we protect our fingers. And I think that that is a good idea. That is very important. And I do know that having something on its flat side is way better, because then I can get a little bit of like an angle going here. So this is just a sweet potato. I'm just going to chop it up into chunks. And of course you can do whatever you like. I'm going to throw it in the air fryer. So while we're cooking our other things, our potato can be cooking. And so hopefully it will all be done at the same time. Now, obviously, when I'm actually doing a breakfast, I typically only do one at a time. Right now, I'm going to show you like 4 or 5 different breakfasts. So that's a little bit, certainly more time in the kitchen than I usually do first thing in the morning. In fact, I'm going to show you one of these little muffin things that I do. And that's my typical breakfast, although I do like to mix it up because variety is really good, especially if what we're doing is we're not counting calories, we're not counting anything like that. We're just eating real food in proper portions. What that does is that when we have variety, then our body gets stimulated, our digestive system gets stimulated. It likes that. So I'm just going to do just a little bit of spray in here and just kind of mix that around. I am going to do a little bit of salt. The beautiful thing about eating well all the time is that you don't have to worry about salt, because you're not eating a bunch of processed crap from the boxes and the cans and all of the places like that. All right, so just a little spray, a little bit of salt. I'm going to pop it in the air fryer. I'm going to do 10 minutes on that on the regular air fry. What's really cool about an air fryer is that you can set that timer, which is beautiful, because I am known for walking away from an oven or a stove and burning food. So we don't want to do that. The little ends from the potato, I always put them in the compost, right? Worms love them. It makes really good, wonderful soil for when you want to grow food, or you just put it in the compost and then they get after. Okay, so those are the potatoes that are cooking that I'm gonna want to have with some eggs. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my bowl here and I'm going to take my 2 eggs, because that is a serving size of protein. So I've got 2 eggs in my dish. I do have my scale. Again, this goes in the compost. So I just have my little compost bin right here in the sink, which is wonderful. All right, so I got my protein and now I've got my scale. I hope that you guys have one of these. This has become just a real lifesaver in terms of mental chatter in my mind about, have I had enough? Do I need a little bit more? What about this? Did I have, you know, how many calories was that? Maybe I can have a little. Can I have a little this? All of that mental chatter around food just diminishes when I have proper portions, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That little voice inside that's all trying to figure it all out and like be a good little girl, but also like have little snacks along the way. She begins to quiet. She begins to soften. She knows that she's being taken care of. Okay, so I got my 2 eggs and I'm going to put some veggies. So we actually had some leftover veggies last night. We had a little barbecue. So I've got some bell pepper, which is awesome. It's like nice and barbecued. So I just put my dish with my 2 eggs in there on the scale and I just zeroed it out. I zeroed it out so that I can now measure my veggie that's going to go in here. I love kitchen scissors. Girl, I be using kitchen scissors all the time because I want to have nice little chopped pieces and not have to use a knife. I don't know why, but I just love it. I love it. All right, so I'm putting some bell pepper in here and I want it to be about 6 ounces. Sometimes 6 ounces of veggie in the morning is like a tremendous amount. And it's like, whoa, man, this is a really huge breakfast. So sometimes what I do is I will mix it up and I'll do, if I'm gonna do something like this with eggs, I'll do half veggie like this in my eggs. So that would be 3 ounces. And then half of like an apple or something like that, half of the fruit. So I just want to show you, this is really looking good. This is perfect, almost exactly 3 ounces. There we go. So I've got some veggies and I've got some egg up in here. I want to show you this really cool seasoning that I found at Safeway the other day. It is freaking awesome. It's called adobo seasoning. Check this out. Sea salt, garlic, organic dehydrated garlic, organic dehydrated onion, organic spices, turmeric, and lemon juice powder. Yes, please. Yes, please. All right, so I'm gonna put a little splash in there, give it some seasoning. So I've got my eggs, and of course you can put whatever like seasonings or spices or herbs or whatever you like. Because we have the barbecued vegetables, I think that that's gonna be the perfect amount of flavor. So now what I've done, and I highly recommend these as well. These are silicone little like muffin cup things, which is super awesome because then they release very quickly, right? So you can put eggs or muffins or whatever inside of these and they pop right out, which is awesome. I know, I think that you don't actually need spray, but I don't know, I think it's just habit. I get kind of nervous. So I'm gonna put a little bit in there. So I actually am not gonna split my veggie today. I'm gonna put a full 6 ounces of veggie into my egg because that's how I like it. Okay, so we were at about 3 and I'm just gonna take a tomato and chop that in half and stick it right in there. Awesome, awesome. I'm gonna take a little bit more of this yellow bell pepper, which is awesome. Ooh, girl. So remember, a serving of veggies is gonna be 6 ounces. So I'm just chopping this up real fine into the egg. Got a little zucchini, got a little tomato, got a little bell pepper, We're right at 5.5 ounces. Let's get a little bit more. I'm using the scissors, which is so cool. Ladies, have you ever used scissors in the kitchen? It's the best. All right, so I got my egg and I got my veggie. So I got my protein and my veggie. And now I'm gonna put it into these dishes. Okay, so let's do it like this. So we'll do the egg right in here. Cool. So it looks like it's about 3. I'll show this to you in just a second. Awesome, right? So we got eggs and veggies, boom, stick them in a little tin. And then obviously it ends up kind of being like finger food once you've cooked them, which is cool. Super cool. Easy, easy breezy. So we're gonna have that with potatoes. All right, let's put this away. And the next thing I want to show you is one of my favorites. And this is pretty much what I do, I don't know, probably at least half the time because it's so easy and they freeze really well. So again, I got my bowl, I've got my beautiful scale. I'm going to zero it out. So my fruit is going to be a banana. Now I've got these like super ripe bananas. This is actually probably a little bit too ripe, but that's okay. I didn't want to use them the other day because I knew that we were going to be doing the show. And so I'm like, all right, I'm going to stretch it out for another day. So of course I got my banana peel. I'm going to put that in the compost. I'm going to put this super ripe banana inside of the bowl, rinse my hands a little bit. Okay, so now I've got my banana and I'm just going to mush it up just a little bit. Okay, super ripe bananas are very easy to mush. And then I'm going to use for my protein, I'm going to use some nuts and nut butter. So for a serving size of that, it's going to be 2 ounces. So I'm going to grab my nut butter, and this is actually a really interesting point to make about the ingredient list on the foods that you're consuming. So this nut butter here, it says dry roasted almonds. Perfect. This one here, it says, where are we? Peanuts and salt. That's it. That's what we want. Okay. This one here, dry roasted cashews. Oh wait, no, this is the funky one. I got 2 funky ones, right? It's like, how did this happen? What happens is that we look at the beautiful label and it's like, creamy butter, whatever. It's so awesome. It looks all natural. This one is like, oh, it doesn't look so beautiful. It just looks so natural, a spread. These are really crazy, right? So check out the ingredients here. Roasted peanuts, powdered sugar, sugarcane and cornstarch, palm oil. What? No, thank you. No, thank you, girlfriend. No, thank you. And this one here, this cashew butter, dry roasted cashew, high oleic sunflower oil, sea salt, and pistachios. A little bizarre, right? So I'm not really interested in having any extra ingredients in my stuff. It just throws off the body and you don't really need that. So let's keep it simple. Let's keep it with just some nuts. And that's what we like. So I'm going to zero out right now because for my protein, I'm going to have 2 ounces of nuts. And so what I do is I do a little bit, whoop, that's way too much. I do a little bit of the nut butter. So that's about 1.5 ounces. And then I'm going to throw a couple of actual nuts just on top, right? A couple of almonds, get a little variety, right? Until it says 2 ounces. Perfect. Alrighty, so I'm gonna mix that up with the banana. So now I've got my protein, and yes, that is a super high fatty protein. That is true. That doesn't work for everybody. Sometimes people get a little bit triggered by that or whatever, or their weight stops going down. For some people, this actually works really well. I'm one of those people who My body really likes to have some fat in the morning. It's very sustaining for me. I used to have a little bit of trouble making it from breakfast to lunch. That was a very stressful time for me, and I would get hungry and cranky and annoyed by lunchtime. And then I found if I had a higher fat, like some nuts in the morning as my protein, then I felt much better during the day. So again, if that works for you, awesome, try it. If that doesn't work for you, don't do it. There you go. Okay, so for the starch, we're going to use some oats, 1 ounce of oats. So I'm just going to drop 1 ounce of oats in there. I do want a little bit of seasoning and a little bit of flavor because we're going to make a little bit of a muffin here. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder. Make sure you get the one that is aluminum free. You don't want any extra aluminum in your body. And then I'm going to do 1 heaping teaspoon of cinnamon, or you can do whatever. I've used like pumpkin pie spice. That's kind of nice sometimes too. Cool. All right, so I'm just going to mix that up. So what was that? That was some nuts and nut butter, banana, oats, a little cinnamon, a little bit of baking powder. I'm just mixing that up. And again, we're just going to throw this together. We're going to do 2. It ends up being about 2 cool little muffins in that same little silicone muffin thing because it's so wonderful. Cool. All right, hey, so I got the oven already on. It's preheated. It's at 375. I am going to pop these 2 breakfasts inside of the oven for about 10 to about 15 minutes. And we'll check them. We'll check them in about 15 minutes. Hey, Google, set a timer for 15 minutes. See, gotta love it.
15 minutes, starting now.
Okay, so let me grab my little, where's my little thing here? I got some notes for you, la, 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 la. Oh yeah, okay, so I wanted to also show you, we could make like a little pancake thing. So that also is going to be with 2 eggs. But I know that some people have like egg issues, right? I can eat eggs like once a week. If I eat them like 2 or 3 days in a row, woo, girl, you be knowing that I ate some eggs and it is not a fun experience, right? And so I kind of like put eggs to the side. Some of you are allergic to eggs, so I wanted to actually show you a cool egg substitute, and that is with chia seeds. So I'm gonna make a little pancake here, but I'm gonna put 2 tablespoons. So that's gonna be our protein. I'm gonna put 2 tablespoons of chia in a little bowl, along with, let's see here. We're gonna do 5 tablespoons of water. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so we're gonna let that sit for a couple of minutes. So what happens with chia is it becomes gelatinous. So you mix chia with water, and I would really highly recommend that you always mix your chia. If you're gonna have chia, it's a wonderful source of protein and fat. They're awesome. They've got all kinds of vitamins and minerals and wonderful things. If you're going to use chia, I highly recommend that you mix it with some water and allow it to become gelatinous outside of your body, because once you put it in, it can kind of dehydrate you because it soaks up a lot of moisture and water, which you might want that, but you might not. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so I'm going to put that aside and show you how to do the little pancakes with chia instead of egg. But for now, we're going to do the egg little pancakes. All right, so again, we're going to use one of these super ripe bananas. So this is going to be our fruit. So I've got a little ripe banana in there, and that was super mushy. Super ripe banana. All right, so we're gonna do 2 eggs. Did I need another fork? Right, mush that up. All right, 2 eggs. So I got my fruit. I got my protein in my 2 eggs. Some compost, wash hands, doing good. All right, and then I'm going to use the oats as my starch. And you know what? Everyone's so different with like seasonings and spices and things like that. In my pancake, I actually like to put tapatio sauce. I know, it's crazy, but it's so awesome. So you got the sweetness of the banana, you got like the hotness of the tapatio, you've got the eggs that are gonna hold it together and give you kind of like that breakfast feel. We're gonna do 1 ounce of oats, so I'm zeroing out. All right, cool. We're gonna do 1 ounce of oats. Now again, if you don't want oats and you want to actually have potatoes with this, you can totally do that too. It works with just banana and eggs, and you can make little pancakes, which is nice. I'm gonna mix the oats in there because that's kind of how I like it both ways actually. I actually did this one day with the high school kids over at Mount. We did 2 eggs and 1 banana pancakes. And they were just like, that's no way. That's not going to taste good. That's crazy. I don't want it. They made them anyway. They ate them all. I was like, exactly. All right. So we'll go and we'll cook that in a little bit in a minute. The next thing that we're going to do that I wanted to show you. Okay. Yeah. The chia. So here we go. Woo. See, look at that. It's like, oh, I just dripped out some water. You can see how like gelatinous it just became. It's all like kind of stuck together. It was these little seeds and you put some water in it. And now it kind of becomes this like pasty kind of stuff, which is awesome because then what that's going to do is it's going to hold together. And that's exactly what we want. So we take the chia, we're going to take this banana, we're going to put that right in there. And same thing. This one, I think I'm going to go the other way. I don't think I'm going to do, where'd my fork just go? Oh, it was over here. I don't think I'm going to do the tapatio sauce. I think I'm going to do, because that's like a little bit different. I think I'm going to do cinnamon. I think that would be an awesome addition. Cinnamon pancake. Cool. Ladies, I'm going to have so many different breakfast ideas for days, which is awesome. All right, so I'm mixing up the already hydrated chia with the banana. I put a little bit of cinnamon in here. Now, again, you can either add the oats or not, right? You can have something different. You can have potatoes on the side or something like that. I'm going to add the oats. But you know what, honestly? It's already feeling a little bit dry. So after adding these oats, I'm gonna add a little bit more water and let it sit for a few minutes and kind of soften up a little bit, which I think it'll be perfect. And just kind of cook down. So with oats, see, this is all stuff that you can actually put in the fridge, right? It's just banana, chia, and oats. I could put this in the fridge and just let it kind of like soak up overnight. And I could actually eat it just exactly how it is. I wouldn't even need to heat it up. You know, summer's coming and you prefer to have a nice cold kind of breakfast, you can do that. So either way, this can be eaten raw. Ooh, girl, telling you what. Okay, so what's the next thing that we're going to do here? The last thing that I wanted to show you is rice cakes. Now, this is kind of an interesting one because typically, if you're having something raw, like the oats, right? You measure it out and it's 1 ounce, and then you cook it and you add water and you do stuff to it and whatever, and it ends up being whatever ounces it is. If it's already cooked, right? If you made like a batch of oatmeal, then typically it's about 4 ounces, right? And so same with potato. When I measure out the potato, it's going to be 4 ounces. Actually, let's check on that potato. Cool. Yeah. See, you can see this sweet potato, it's cooked. You see it's nice and moist on the inside, so that is perfect. I think our eggs and our muffins are cooking in there. Okay, so rice cakes are kind of like in between, right? And again, are they like the best nutritional value that you could ever have? No, it's a rice cake. It's like there's almost like nothing even in here. 1 gram of protein, 1 gram of fiber, it's like 70 calories. You know, that the ingredients are literally organic brown rice and sea salt. So this is not something that I would maybe eat every day, and I certainly don't. But I think it's fun to have a little variety, to have a little crunch. You know, it's nice to have that in the morning. So with rice cakes, because they're kind of like in between, right? Like, are they cooked? Is it not cooked? Is it 1 ounce? Is it 4 ounces? I'll tell you right now, 4 ounces of a rice cake is obnoxious. And 1 ounce is like almost not really enough, right? So what I do is I just keep it simple. And the way that I do it is I commit myself the night before, if I'm having rice cakes, to 2 rice cakes. So just boom, boom, 2 rice cakes, beautiful serving, love it. All right, so I'm gonna use some peanut butter on this one. And again, always just peanuts, thank you very much. So that 2 rice cakes ends up being about 1.3 to 1.5 ounces, which is perfect, it's fine. And then it's like really easy to do the nut butter because you just do 1 ounce on each, right? Because that's the serving for protein, which makes it really easy. So I'm zeroed out on my scale and I'm gonna do 1 ounce each of the nut butter, whatever kind, perfect. And then it's easy to just spread around. And then for my fruit, what I'm gonna do is raspberries. See, these little boxes are really nice, especially if you're like out and about or you're traveling, doing something like that, because it even says right on there, net weight 6 ounces. Now, if I'm at home, which I am right now, I do typically actually weigh out because it's usually like 1 or 2 raspberries over the 6 ounces. It's about 6 ounces, which is totally fine. If I'm out, I just eat the container, right? It says 6 ounces, get over it. But I am at home, so I am going to rinse them. And I am going to weigh them. It's cool, the little containers that they come in, how they have the holes so that you can just rinse it right inside of the container. Did you know that? Did you know? All right, wonderful. So we're gonna do raspberries right on top of this peanut butter rice cake, which is just too cool. Too cool for words. Girl, now I wanna have breakfast again. Where's my breakfast again? I'm gonna do a couple on the side here. And look at that. Oh my God, this one was like almost exactly on point. See, it's like 1 or 2 left in there, whatever. All right, so that is beautiful rice cake with nut butter. See how much food this is? I mean, it's crazy. How can you lose 50 pounds eating this way? How can you lose 100 pounds eating this? How can you keep 100 pounds off? The idea is that we start our mornings with such vibrant, whole nutrition that then we're set up for the rest of the day, right? And then we also want to have lunch. We're going to talk about that tomorrow, and dinner. We're going to talk about that the next day. But what it is that when we're really eating fully, right? When we're really eating balanced, when we're really eating the proper portions and not just having a little nibble or a little nugget or just, coffee and a little pastry or something like that, setting ourselves up for success right away is key, girlfriend, key to long-term weight loss, to the management of the itty bitty shitty committee in the head that tells us all kinds of weird stuff about our hunger. Okay. So this chia banana thing is looking pretty awesome. And I'm just going to actually wrap this up and stick it in the fridge and have this tomorrow cold, because that's how I like chia. But if you wanted to cook it, you could totally cook it as well.
The less exercise and the more food, then we get that really balanced energy. And what happens is that then we want to move. And it's not this forced thing because we have to. We're trying to muster up the motivation to keep going. And we know that we got to do it. And then we're trying to count our calories. And then we're hungry during the day because we just worked out. And it just gets to be this kind of craziness. So when you start with first calming the mind with the hypnosis, second, proper nutrition, flooding the system with vitamins and minerals and nutrients and enzymes and antioxidants and fiber and water and everything that your body needs, healthy fats and proteins and carbohydrates. Then your body begins to balance out. Your motivation begins to come from the inside because now you're feeling good and you want to move. Whew! You hear what I'm saying. All right, so it's nice and warm, and I'm going to put our little egg. Woo, look at that. It's a big old pancake, girls. I'm telling you what. Let's go see what's going on in the oven while this pancake is a cooking. Oh, yeah, ladies. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We've got some good stuff going on here. The egg does not look quite done, so we're going to give it a couple.
Outside.
Yeah, what does it smell like, baby?
Smells like pancakes, eggs, and muffins. Am I right?
Yeah, you are right.
Yeah, smells good.
Awesome. I've been showing them all kinds of stuff, babe. I even did a little bit of potato. We did a little pancake. We did a little chia seed. We did some eggs. We did some veggies. All right. You want to grab the potatoes out of the air fryer for me, babe?
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to do some potatoes. We're going to do 4 ounces of potatoes. Awesome. A little bit. A little too much. All right, perfect. Perfection. So this is what about 4 ounces of sweet potato in the air fryer looks like. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to put the eggs with the veggies, and that is just going to be too perfect for words because we're going to flip this beast. Maybe. I hope so. Look at this big thing. Maybe I should have made a couple different little ones. Woo! Yeah, girl. Look at that. Look at that. Looking good. Looking good. I'm just going to turn that one down and let it slow cook for a little while. All right, so let's see. We're done on the muffins. Yeah, kind of bounces back. Done on the egg. Yeah. Oh, no. Look at that. Look at that cool little tomato guy. Oh, yeah. Yep, all the way cooked. Looking good. All right, I'm going to pop that on a plate. Oh, cool. And I'm going to let that cool, and I'm going to wrap it up, and I'm going to stick it in the fridge, and I'm going to have that in a couple of days. Awesome. The bottom line here is wonderful nutrition. Get some balance. It doesn't need to be perfect or super fancy or wild. Just give yourself the dignity of time. Give yourself and your body the opportunity to have some balance, to have some structure. One of the reasons why having breakfast and having breakfast at a similar time each day is really helpful and beneficial is there's a few reasons. Physically, our digestion, when there is, it's kind of like Pavlov's dog. It's like when the bell rang, the dog began to salivate because for day after day after day after day, they would ring the bell and then they would feed the dog. And what happens is that when we have that kind of consistency, then our digestive enzymes and digestive juices in our body gets primed for that. It really likes that. And then it becomes ready to receive the nutrition. And it wants that. It wants to break things down. It wants to work. It wants to have the vitamins and minerals and nutrients and enzymes and antioxidants. And then also it has that satisfaction. We're giving our body what it needs so that then during the day, we don't have to think about it so much, which is awesome. That's what I want. I don't want to have to think about my body all day long. Do you? No. All right, so we got our potatoes. Lovely. We've got our little egg muffins. Awesome. Boom. Look how easily that came out. Did you see that? A little hot. That's okay. Look at egg with the veggie in the little tin. Heaven. And you know what? You could put a little salsa on there too. Yeah. Cool little muffin. Just gonna leave those right in there. All right, ladies, look at all these different breakfasts that we have. We've got oats, banana, nut muffin. We've got chia, banana, oat. You can add a little cinnamon in there. So good. I'm gonna stick this in the fridge. It's like an overnight oat. We've got a banana egg pancake. By the way, you could also make a pancake out of this if you wanted to, but I want to have it cold. We've got some eggs and some veggie and some potato. And then of course, we've got our rice cake with berries and nut butter. 5 different breakfast ideas. So wonderful, nutritious, and delicious. I am so excited for you ladies to try these at home.